Alright guys, James is going to have some fun today. Doing what, you ask? Well, see that sign over there? Yeah. Gas pumps? Yep. We're going to have some fun. We're at a buddy's house, a buddy's place, and he's repurposing the building for something else. But James is snagging up sign and some pumps. So today we're going to figure out how a gas pump is attached to a gas pump island. We got the hoses on the side here and the filter, and we're going to take them apart and see if we can't refinish one of these things and make it pretty for the shop and make it a good little piece to look at. So stainless steel's in great shape on them. They were originally Hudson's. It's a Hudson's Exxon station, so I'm going to look at doing some of the signage in here. I'll get that redone, stickers and that, but it does have the actual pump inside of it. It's got the fuel pump calculator, they would call them, which is a pretty cool thing. Actually, I'm going to walk over here where the kerosene pump is. It opened, but look at all the gears in there. It's kind of cool, the technology that they had. I'm guessing these things are 70's. That's where the fuel was down there, 3 big tanks. Those got to get pulled out of there too. Those have been offered to me, and I'm not sure what I would do with one of them, but if anybody's ever seen any good uses for those, let me know. So the lights are cool, but this all has to come out of here. So let's get to work. Okay, just a little jiggling on those face plates, and I got the lock to come undone. There's the gas line comes in right here in the center, and then over here we've got the electrical lines that run up. That one's broken open. Those all have to be sealed though, so that fumes, if it was to leak here, fumes can't go back there through the conduit, get into the building where the circuit breaker is, and cause an explosion or fire. So kind of cool. The pump, you just have to lift the pump off here, and then you flip this thing over, and then it's got a spring-loaded thing on it, so you could pull the pump way out if you needed it. If you're going around the other side of your car, big long hose on this thing, and then you'd flip it back and put it in. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this. So we'll clean it all up. We can take all these pieces off here, get them cleaned, although the stainless on this thing is in great shape, you can see. We got some lighting up here, we'll get that fixed. We're gonna put new frosted glass in the top of it. One is broken back here, but we'll get that changed out. Pretty excited. Okay, so down here we've got 3 couplers. This one was already broken. I've unscrewed these ones here. See the wiring up inside of there. This looks like it's probably maybe the data cable that goes back. We're about to open this here. I think this is the wiring junction. Believe it or not, this is an 11 millimeter. This thing's from the 70's would be my guess. If anybody has any input on that, let me know. But I'm guessing we're talking 1970 here. And I have no idea what we're going to find inside. That right there, for sure. If we clean that up, that's the GE logo. Bennett, that would be the pump. So, know nothing about these. This is my first gas pump. And pretty excited to get it apart, open it up. I'm going to take this thing back to the shop, power wash it really, really well. And just see what we've got here. So let me finish taking this apart. Alright, so what we got here is all the bolts are out. Let's get the front of this thing off of here. Oh, no. I missed that one. It's no front here. Alright. This is definitely the electrical connection here. So 2 of these bolts actually went through with nuts, and that held it to this bracket here. So the tank, the pump itself is not actually fastened down in any way to the ground. This is what it looks like. Maybe a little bit of caulking there or something. Maybe it looks like some caulking there. These pins here are what locks on that front panel, but what's holding it is the pipes and the electrical. It's funny how everything's kind of coming loose. So all right, let's rip this thing apart here. I've been told by the guy that owns the building, everything inside of here is dead. I trust him. I do. Let's see what we got. I'm going to cut these apart and get them out of here. Alright, so what we can see so far, quick power wash. knocking some of the grease off it. You see Bennett is the name on the pump, and down here where I'm guessing this is the pump, this is maybe the regulator, or it measures. I guess this is the pump, and this is how much fuel is going out, and then it triggers the computer up here to count. This is the electric motor. So lots of questions we had in here. It's full of dirt and grease and grime. If you come over this side, it says 115, 230. It looks like maybe it's a 1/3 horse. Can run off 115 or 230. I don't know. It's a GE, obviously, which is kind of cool. The conduit, just kind of a neat little unit here. This here needs to bolt back on there. I took the bolts off to unwire it, but I'm gonna spray some gunk engine cleaner on there. We're gonna get some more grease off of this thing. The idea is to clean it up and paint it, so as much grease as I can get off now before we get to the sanding process would really help. So we're just going to gunk it up a little bit here, shall we? I'm guessing this thing's from the 70's. A little bit of research I was able to do on it. I'm hoping to find a date on it. If anybody has any idea what year this might be, let me know. I have no idea when the last time was it ran. I know the gas station's been not used for, I think he said 5 years. So it hasn't run about 5 years, I'm guessing, because it was a functioning gas station before my buddy bought it. Let this stuff get on there and eat for a while. Chew on some of that grease, and then we'll hit it with the power washer one more time. I love these old wheels, and the belt came apart when I hit it with the power washer, so we'll put a new belt. Not planning on using this or plugging it in or nothing, but I want it to look like it works, right? That guy told me today that I ought to put a keg in the bottom of it and use the fuel handle to fill up beers for my buddies.
That's a cool idea.
That'd be kind of sweet. I don't know, I want to drink beer through a, 50-year-old fuel hose, but, probably ingest it first. Came from an Exxon station. So I'm going to do it in blue and red, the Exxon colors, just to kind of keep true with it. Up here, these are my front panels. Hudson's was the name of the gas station. Better not lose that. And but you can see this is just brittle, just sitting here in the sun actually. Look at that. So we're going to take the heat gun to that just a little bit. Then we're going to get some metal polish and see if we just clean these up. I kind of like to leave everything just a polished stainless. And then the only color that'll be painted on it is that little base plate at the bottom. And then the inside of it I'd like maybe doll up with a little bit of just, that kind of a matte gray, maybe a glossy gray, something on the mechanicals. The face plates of the computer, I want to respray those in black. New lighting, and of course I want to redo the cover panels behind the glass. I'll make those look, that'll be the nicest looking part of the whole thing. But it's going to be a cool little piece to sit in the shop. I'm going to work on this one, and I got a couple more I can go up and grab. So if this works out really well, I might have a few of them. I think I'd like to do something other than Exxon though on the next one. Any suggestions? I think a Shell. I'm from Canada, so I think Esso. We had Esso stations up there. Petro-Canada. Or maybe like Standard Oil, or I don't know, one with the gargoyle on it, or the Flying Pegasus would be kind of cool. I don't know. Gotta come up with something. Alright, well I think we got easy pickings off. This stuff is on there. So there used to be a plate you can see once the vinyl's off there. Had 4 rivets in it on each side. Not sure what kind of plate that would have been, so we're going to look online, see if maybe we can find some cool Exxon signs or something. Put on there big enough to cover those holes and just kind of give it the lettering and the characteristics we want the pump to have. So I'm going to let this sit in the sun for just a little bit. I think I'm going to go get a heat gun and try to warm it and see if we can't persuade it to come off of the metal. And then I also want to get like a flathead screws. That's how you can tell it's old. You got the old flathead, you know. Pretty sure that was thanks to the British for that invention. That's how they used to stick their Jaguars together. But and they just come out finger tight. So that's what happens when a pump sits around for 50 years. The screws come loose. But anyways, I'm going to take these off. These will be easy to just clean up, and we'll just reshoot them matte black. We'll just take a little sandpaper to it and get the rust off of there. Just clean those up. That'll be the easy part. Then we got to determine what we're going to do with the inside of this. It didn't really come as clean as I was hoping with the gunk. Maybe I need to put more engine degreaser on it, let it sit for longer. Up in here, I mean, that's just oil up in there, and it rubs off, so I might have to get a little wire wheel action in here too and hit it with that just to kind of clean up. It actually, the castings, the gray castings, I like the look of that. If I could get, you can see back in there where the electronics were, the casting there, the conduit, the way it comes up gray, everything comes up a nice color when it's just bare metal. Gonna be indoors, so it doesn't need to be protected anymore. So maybe we'll just try another engine greaser on there, try to get a little bit more agitation going on. Put a nice new filter in here, you know, probably a Wix, make it look nice, you know. So we'll see. But I want to get that bottom plate off, because that there I want to clean up really well with the wire wheel, and then I want to paint that either red or blue. And then my idea is to run over to Tractor Supply, and they got those little oval metal things just sit on the ground. I think you put horse feed in them or something. I'm not sure what they're for, but they got them. There's no bottoms in them. I'm going to put it on the warehouse floor, put a trash bag in the bottom of it, and then fill it with cement. That thing will dry, but it's not stuck to the floor at that point, but it won't move. And I mount this to it. Just set it on there. I think it'll look kind of cool. And then I want to get one of those little trash cans, you know, where you put the squeegee thing in the side where they always fill it with water because they're cheap and it freezes up in the wintertime. Yeah, I want to get one of those on the side of it. And then we'll be all set. All right, so here we can see we've got the original vinyl, and then we've got the rewrap over top of it here. So it's been wrapped twice. And I'm assuming before it was wrapped, it had some original signage on it, which were those holes. I don't know. I wasn't actually buying gas in the 70s, so I can't remember exactly what the pumps looked like. Yeah, that wasn't my thing. Stuff is very tough. I think that's why the power washer is just having a hard time getting it. It's not eating through it and getting under it. But look at that. The stainless is in great shape. It's a nice heavy grade stainless too. It's not real thin. These holes here and here, there's pegs in the pump, and when you slide this thing down, they actually lock onto the pegs, and then the glass door goes on and holds the top of it from lifting up so nobody can get inside the thing. It's a very simple little construction, but I'm guessing back in the days you weren't worried about as many people walking in and paying for things with a 5-finger discount like they do today. And you gotta pump your own gas. Back in the day, I bet you this was used. I bet you an attendant came up and pumped gas for you. Alright. Low, high, high, higher. It's clearly working, and at this rate we should be done by Christmas. That metal's getting hot. Kind of slow go, and it's putting little micro scratches on the stainless.
So I'm not sure if I want to keep going that route. It actually peeled off okay.
Do you think if it just sits in the sun for a bit?
That's what I'm wondering.
Because it's such a...
Also, if we can get rid of some of the really aggressive pieces that are wrapped around the edges and really holding on, I think if we can get rid of those, then the rest of it will come off easier with the kind of weaken it. Maybe the rest of it will come off a little bit easier with the power washer again. I wasn't able to get any of these edges, but now that they're unwrapped and not protected on the back side, well, we might be able to do something here. Look at that. Pressure washer wasn't touching that. But this panel, stainless must be a good dissipator of heat, because this whole panel is pretty warm right now. I'm telling you what, and that's making everything come off a lot easier. So let's do that. And the other one's just sitting over there baking in the sun. It's 62-degree weather. It's not really hot, but did you say it's about 62 degrees here?
I think it's warmer than that.
Is it
I'm
warmer
sweating.
than that? Oh, are you?
Yes. This sweatshirt's gotta go.
That looks really great. Look at that. Got that whole edge done. Sometimes you feel like there's got to be a tool for everything. We tried the pressure washer, and we tried the heat gun. Sometimes the best tool is just grab it with your hands. You know, make it work. Sometimes that's the best way to do it. Now I guess I got to figure out how to buff and polish this stuff. Did I polish metal before? No, just add it to the list of things I've never done, and now I got to figure out. That's all. All right, metal polishing 101. Don't do what I do, because I've not done this before. But I've got some simple green, and I've got some Barkeeper's Friend. I got a little steel wool, and I got a machine. So we're going to try on the inside, because you know, you can't damage that too bad. Nobody's going to notice it. We're just going to see what we can do to get this thing cleaned up. I'm going to put a little bit of simple green on here, just to kind of wet the surface down. And then put a little Barkeeper's Friend in there. Hopefully we don't get like toxic fumes going on here. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that, would you? It came up like brand new. It's taking the adhesive off. It's a little hard to get the adhesive off, but look what it's doing to that oil. That's incredible. Taking the big chunks of it out. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to wash this off and just see if we scratch the living bejeebers out of it, or if it looks pretty good. Takes that residue right off. Isn't that nice? Get that edge there. Woo! Come on. Like a new old stock in here now, man. This is going to be good. Hang on. Let's see if this thing doesn't work. Once again, doing it by hand, so much better. Golly, we're always in such a rush to go buy the next newest, greatest tool, aren't we? Sometimes, not what you need. Oh, that's gonna look great. I know it works better when you turn it on. People on the back are making comments. I can hear them already. But I just want to see how it looks. Wow. A little scratching, I think, from the steel wool. But I think you can make that work. It could be easier than that, but I don't know how. Because this is pretty easy. I'm going to do the whole inside of this one. Then I'll flip it over and do the important stuff, you know, stuff that people can see. Oh, the problem with doing this outside is your barkeeper's friend will blow away. Note to self, don't stand downwind.
It's a mirror. I can see myself like a mirror.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So it's got a little micro scratching, but I think if we come back to that with a little bit of metal polish, we can get that to buff right out. So we're going to hit the front side of it here, the important side where it counts, where it matters. We got a little bit of glue residue. This side's not so bad. The other side looks like I got a little rust on it. I know it's stainless and not supposed to rust, but I don't know. I have a little iron content in there.
Do you think maybe the rust is left behind from the screws that were in it?
It could be. Could be left behind the signs that were on it. I don't know what they were made out of. And I've had stainless rust on me before. Depending on the quality of the stainless, it can rust on you a little bit. You ever bought stainless steel nuts and bolts over at Lowe's? Ooh, they turn rusty brown in no time. Off before because one side has a washer and one side doesn't, so whoever took it apart put it together different than he took it apart. Pretty common. Look at that. Ooh. You can roll them. Look at these guys. That's the price. How do you change the price of gas? It's got a piece of tape over it.
It's taking.
Oh, it's taken the 3 out. Oh, that's been replaced.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you think this pump was made when gas? Because look at this part is all automatic. It's all in a gear system. Do you think these pumps were made when gas was less than $1 a gallon, and then they had to come add this little dewey on here, the sticker? When gas went over $1 a gallon? I betcha. They thought gas will never be more than $1 a gallon. We've got so much of it in the U.S. Why would it go more than $1 a gallon? Wow. That's kind of cool. Same thing on this side, it's a sticker. Yeah. So I don't know how those were adjusted. I'll be honest, you look like you would just come in from the bottom side. Yes, look at that. You just come in from the bottom side with the screwdriver. I got to get a shorter screwdriver and pop it up and twist it. It's got little teeth so it would lock in to wherever you put it. If I can just push it up. There you go. Changing the price of gas. It's pretty cool. So, I don't know how I'm going to clean that up yet. Like I said, I want to be real careful with it because it's fragile. So, we'll be careful. We're going to clean those up real quick because it's the same kind of thing. And then this one here, see it's bent? We got to fix that. This guy lays nice and flat. This guy has been off a couple of times, so let's just try to put them in our custom metal bender here. Give them some shape back. Ooh, look at that. They're slightly different. You see?
I do.
This has got a viewing window and a viewing window.
That one doesn't.
That one does. Oh! Oh, look, there's another little reading right in there.
Huh.
That must be like how many gallons this pump is pumped. Something like that, I bet. Not too crusty to read, but that's kind of cool. That goes there. So you can look through that little viewing window and see those guys. Their plastics are really foggy though, so I don't think we'll be able to clean that up at all. I don't want to take
I
any
wouldn't
steel
mess with
bowl
that.
It'll just leave little scratches and make it worse. So, all right, let's clean up these parts. We're gonna try to lower this thing back onto the pallet and take the foot off the bottom. This could hurt. Oh yeah. Alright, so it looks like it's 8 nuts and bolts here. They look like 1/2 inch. Get some wrenches. Someone put those on with a big torque wrench. I'm gonna lift it up out of the mud here. Find a better place to work. Seems to be an extra bolt here and down there. So what that's telling me is we probably have to take these side panels off to get to those bolts. The plot thickness. But I want to do that because the base of this being painted, I think, is key to it looking nice. And I don't want to I'm like a paint job because I had to tape off the stainless and I didn't, you know what I mean? This is the original 8 I knew about. Looks like these sides are going to have to come off. So the only problem with taking the sides off is there's three bolts here. Then there's or 6 on this side, there's 6 on the other side that I've now laid the tank down, the pump down. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to stand it up real quick. We're going to take the sides of it off, and then we'll lay it back down again to take the base of it off. We do have an oil filter wrench. Oh, yeah, it's even the right size. That's the chances. Oh, there you go. It's a Tech Anal? A-N-O-L? It's an anal filter. So, there you go. Check your anal filters, people. That side's a mess. Bought a toolbox off a guy a while ago. It's a Craftsman toolbox. It sold for $50 and had all his tools in it. That was pretty cool. But even cooler, came with biohazard specimen bags. I mean, come on. Oh, look at this. Huh. How old that is. You can see anything go to waste though. Still fresh. Now, how come on these side ones, on those ones we switched to a 5/8 on the inside? I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. We'll figure it out together. What? Okay. What kind of witchcraftery is this? It's not a 9/16. It's not a 1/2 inch. Is it a 14 millimeter? It is easier to do these projects beside the toolbox, but the weather is beautiful. We got better light out here. Hang on, it's not 14 millimeter either. Did my 1/2 inch does not go on there right? Is that what it was? It's a 1/2 inch. Told you. Trying to figure out why they switched all that up. Blaming guys that built this thing many moons ago, and they're watching the video going, no dummy, it's still a 1/2 inch. It hasn't changed. So the pump is fully functional. it was in use, and then they just shut the pumps off and sold the gas station. So this is a fully functional pump. The tanks are still there. Everything's there. But to bring it up to today's standards, it just cost a lot of money. And that's not something the current property owner wants to do. So I have no intention of making this thing work again. That's not why I'm here. I just want cool shop art. Like that. Landscape, portrait. I've got about 783 projects ahead of this one. I don't know why I jumped on this one so quick. I like it. But I got a lot of projects in front of this one. I don't want to get sidetracked worse than I already have. So let's paint some stuff, shall we? All right, so we're up here at the kitchen at the office, and got a friend of mine who lives in Indiana. Apparently, his wife says he sometimes takes car parts in the shower with him. That's different. Look at that. Wow. Some of that paint is like thick. Wow. Dude. So best way to get that off? The wire wheel, I think. Let's try a stripping disc. All right, ready? Engage safety glasses. That's good. Tell me that ain't perfect. A bit of primer on there, a little gentle sanding around the edges. Just get in a couple little spots here up where the wheel doesn't like to go. We'll just do that by hand. I don't think you're gonna get a better finish than that. Just remember, all of this here isn't visible. It's just this little outer edge that's visible. Most of this here you'll never even see. There's a lock washer embedded in the paint. That's gonna come off like a Japanese throwing star when I hit it. Now, if we're going to do a full restoration on this, we'd want to get into the corners and get all this, and we want to get down into here and all that. But, you know, we're not trying to make this something that's going to be in the museum in Washington where they show all that really cool stuff that's old. We're not going to be in there. We're just going to be in my shop. So, we're just going to clean this up. We'll get the blower out here and blow a little air off. And we're just going to take this now and we're going to primer it. And we're not worried too much about the brackets here because the bracketry gets covered by the legs anyways. We don't need to gum that all up with paint, but I want to get this bare metal primed up here. I want to get these primed up, and the idea is to get it so that the paint sticks well to it. Rust-Oleum Inspire primer, flat red. Why? Because I had it on my shelf. Henceforth, it's free. Got a nice little downdraft going away from the camera and yourself and your lungs. We have that here with fumes blowing quite nicely to the south. This is just primer too, remember, folks. Just be excited. I know it's the wrong red for Exxon. You just joining us now. We are doing an Exxon pump. This isn't the right red, it's primer. HP for now. It would be nice if they put the part number somewhere so you can find them. Oh, they're down here. HP for 005. Right. Oh my gosh, this is the one. Let's see. Performance. Oh, it's gonna be upside down. I'm gonna read it. And the test. Thumb goes to there. Thumb goes to there. That is the same thread, so it'll go on. So there we go. We're going with the K&N. We're gonna go with the wicks. They're a little spendy. Welcome back. It's Sunday afternoon. Time to do a little more work on the pump. Let me show you what we got. We got a sticker on here that says, for use as a motor fuel only, contains lead, anti-knock compounds. It's a sticker. See how this is an actual riveted on sign? That's nicer. A little earlier pumps had those, so I'm going to get one of those rivet on signs and replace it just because I like the look of that a little bit better. But let's go down here and look at all the rest of our parts. Earlier today we got everything back from the powder coater. No, not really. We spray painted it. It's black satin, high gloss blue, Ford blue. Just really like the way it came out. Guys, when you're painting your stuff, I know it's exciting. I painted this last night. It looks so good. I want to put the thing together. Let it have a day to dry. It's just gonna, the finish gets a little bit harder. It's a little bit more durable. You're not gonna scratch it up. We painted this part here, where the filter seals on. Did I paint it? Yeah, but it's never gonna flow through it again. And then we got a K&N filter, just because, well, it's kind of cool. It's bright color. It looks clean, rather than the one we had on there. So we've got the pump over here on the forklift. What we're going to start with is we're going to put the base back on it. Then we're going to stand it up. We're going to put the sides all on it. The sides, the stainless steel all needs to be polished, but we figure that's just as easy to do it on the pump as it is sitting here outside in the sun where the polish dries up really quick. So we'll put it all on there. We'll bring it inside where we got some shade and a little cooler air, and we'll go ahead and polish that up. And then we're going to go upstairs to the wood shop, and we're going to take the white panels that were here. We're going to refinish those, so those are ready to go in. And then of course we've got to go this week and get new letters ordered for it. And we found some signage for it, and we can't find an Exxon sign for this thing that's not distressed. And the pump doesn't look distressed anymore when we're done with it. And so we've decided to make a change from Exxon to, picture incoming now. Right there, that's right, Standard Oil. So we're gonna go Standard Oil. Still the red, white, and blue colors, which I really like to see. This sign is 11 inches tall and 12 inches wide. And I'm gonna measure it real quick. I just wanna make sure it's gonna cover up most of these holes that are on the pump where the old sign was. I'm gonna grab a tape measure and check that now. Okay, it's 12 inches wide. Well, that covers that nicely, and 11 inches tall. Look at that. So if we put the top of the flame right up here near the lock, that might just cover all those 4 screws, which would be nice. This one's got a lot of scratching on it. We might revert to this one. I don't know, still, it looks like somebody went at it before. The old stickers that we found on here, it looks like somebody went at it really hard with something and scratched them off. So we're gonna have to see how much of that we can get to polish out. I don't know how much of it will come out or not. Luckily, a lot of it's gonna get covered up with the new sign. And it's not supposed to look like a brand new pump. It's supposed to look like something that was made in the 70s. So, you know, this is almost a little too too nice. The blue and all this, but it's gonna look good. Somebody's having an emergency. Hopefully it's not me. Somebody is though. One way to eat a cat. Kill a cat? Eat a cat?
Skin a cat. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Skin a cat. Skin a cat. Who wants to eat a cat? I'm sorry. The government's division of units and measurements, and make sure. So there you go. See how nice that looks. A little bit of black paint on there. Now this guy here goes up here. He screws on here like this. Now, I have noticed, I tried to put it on already, the thread is just off by a little bit. This is the side that I want to have exposed to the shop. So I don't actually want to tighten it up all the way because I kind of want just to show. This is the visual we're going for here, folks. Not the functionality, the visual. So I'm gonna just leave it a little bit loose so the K&N performance shows up. Not that anything will ever go through that filter unless my buddy gets his way and I do make this a kegerator, and that would be some filtered beer going through there. I think these faceplates were off before because the original faceplate I don't think had that punch out. I think when these pumps were sold, the price of gas was under $1. 60 cents, 48 cents or something. Nobody ever expected gas to go over $1, let alone, you know, where it went $5, $6 a few years ago. Nobody ever expected it. So this pump was only made with 3-digit price tag, right? See how they had to come and retrofit these little guys on here. That's why it's a wraparound number. It's different. This is a little retrofit deal they had to pop on here so you could change the price for $1, $2, $3, whatever it was. And then this. And so I think that's why these faceplates are up before, because I had to change the faceplates. And the big faceplate, I'm going to show you something interesting on that when we get to that we found, that really kind of confirms my theory. Alright, so the whole secret to this turns out to be these little spring clips. And there's a piece of glass on the top, and it's got 2 spring clips on it. Then there's 2 clips at the bottom and 1 on each side. And basically the clip just hooks over the edge of the glass like that, holds the glass in place, and then this part here just goes underneath the frame and locks in. So what you do is you lay the metal on here first, and then you lock it in. And of course, before we assemble this whole thing, we will clean the glass really well. See that spring clip on there? It's pretty good how it holds pressure down on that glass. We'll clean the glass really well. And then before you put these spring clips in, the little metal, this guy here, goes upside down on the glass, and then the spring clips hold both the glass and that metal piece. Kind of neat. We're going to heat up this little bit of blue here and the 87 octane. These you can order online. They have these on eBay. That same style. Kind of nice that comes off with a little bit of heat. It's not loose enough yet. We're 5 inches there on total sail, 5 inches wide, and we are 3/8 inch tall. Okay, we talked earlier about the price of gas and how we think they added the $1 digit. Look here, see how that's kind of, it's not as clean a cut as this is. This was all punched out at one time. That looks like maybe it was cut and folded back. Maybe. Well, let's flip it over. Yes, indeed, it was. They came in, they cut it, and they folded it back because originally they had gas as 0.999 was the highest price it could go, so just under $1. When gas went over $1, forget what year, we're gonna do a little research and read that out to you. When gas went over $1, they had to pry this thing, cut it back, pry it back, and add those little 1, 2, 3 numbers that turn so gas could be $1, $2, or $3 a gallon. Funny thing is, when they stopped using these pumps about 5 years ago, the pumps are still set at $3.79 a gallon. So kind of pricey. It's down $1 from that right now. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to sand all this down here and get rid of the old paint off of this and try to get it down to a nice finish. And then we're going to go ahead and prime this, paint this. This will be gloss white. I think the stickers and the letters will really pop on here. And then I think down here, I'm going to put Hudson's, just the name Hudson's, just as an ode to where the pumps came from. The guy who, you know, this was his life. It was his shop. He built this shop and he worked there all his life, and he serviced cars and he had a little grocery area, and that's what he did. So let's just do a little ode to Mr. Hudson and what he, you know, did to build this business. And I just think that's kind of a cool little thing to do. So we'll put Hudson in here. We'll do it in the Ford blue to match the base of the pump. And then we'll do the standard oil sign on it. I think it's going to look great. Well, now you have to ask yourself a question. What's going to be better, white or red? We could do the red and then do the Hudson's in the blue, and then the yellow sticker, and then the letters still on the black.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would look a little sportier than just plain old white. Oh. Well, then I think they used to say BP Super, didn't it? BPSUPER. BP Super. There was one of the other pumps that was there that said BP Super on there. So I'm guessing it used to be British Petroleum. And I'd make it a BP pump because I kind of like that brand too. I like the yellow and the green, but we haven't painted the base blue. And I'm not taking that all apart again. But we'll make sure it sits properly in the bottom. A little red primer. A little red primer doesn't hurt when you're doing red paint. Oh, that is going to look really sharp. Get rid of all the old crustiness. And cover it all up with brand new crustiness. Just got that on there now, and it'll go up under here. Oh yeah, pushes up into there nice. My patience for things like this is phenomenal until something breaks or doesn't go my way. Like I say, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it to be as authentic as we can make it. All right, that looks pretty good. You still see a little crackle in the finish underneath it. I'm going to go ahead and paint it red. I like that there a little bit. It gives it a little bit of age. Like I say, we're not trying to make this perfect. We just want it to be clean and look nice. We're trying to do a cool looking shop piece here. We're not trying to do a $100,000 restoration, if you know what I mean. That's not at all surprising. Can spray paint that hasn't been used in 6 months and it doesn't work? Ha! We can fix anything around here. Even old rotten bottles of spray paint. Remember, that red's hard to cover, so we're going to mist on this coat here, a little heavy, and we'll let that dry, and then we're going to hit it again, because you can see all kinds of blotchiness in that, and that's pretty typical of red. Alright, so we're sitting doing a little research here about prices of fuel, because we find it interesting to try to date this pump. We think it's from the 70s just based on the pictures and the design of the pump. So we looked up gas prices in the US crossed the dollar per gallon mark in the early 80s. Following the energy crisis of the 70s and the OPEC oil embargo. So in 1970, energy crisis saw a major energy crisis with the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, imposing an oil embargo in 1973, which significantly impacted the U.S. economy and led to a sharp rise in oil prices and subsequently gas prices. So we think the pumps were pre-73 because gas was less. So in 1970, a gallon of gas cost around 36 cents. So when they made the pump, say in 1970, 36 cents per gallon, I mean, you could go 3 times that and you'd just then be crossing over the $1 threshold. So post-crisis rise, by 1980, the price of gas had more than tripled to $1.22 per gallon. Between 70s and 80s, gas tripled. Well, now all of a sudden they had to have another digit there. And I guess they saw the sudden rise and thought, well, we can't just paint a 1 on there. It's not going to be 1 point something, something, something forever. It could go to 2 maybe. Maybe even crazy enough to think about it, go to $3 and something a gallon. So they put a little pop-up thing that would go $1, $2, or $3 or 0. So if gas went below $1 again, they get zeroed out. But they had to cut that little window, fold it back. They changed the inner faceplate, but not the outer faceplate. And then they drilled a hole and popped that little thing in there. You know, the price of gas went up to $1.22. You know, if we're at high 2s right now, that's only twice as much for gas as we were in the 70s. That's really not a huge increase. That's kind of some interesting information about why they had to pry that little flap open and expose another number, as it were. So there you go. That's just trying to make the show a little more educational. That's all. All right, so we're going to take our faceplate and we're going to put it in here, and we're going to make sure that it's sitting where it needs to be at the bottom. And then these little clips, so this little ledge here has to go underneath, down where the rubber is, and then the top of it just pushes back like that. Really simple clip, but it seems to really do its job at the same time. Gotta get the clip back, and then you gotta get that on top of the rubber piece, and then maybe use a screwdriver. There's probably a very simple way to install these, and that's probably not the way I'm doing it. And now I think it'll all stay in there. Let's find out. Now I think that's a pretty cool looking piece. I think that came together really well. I love the brilliance of the stainless. I really like the color of the red. I can already picture Hudson's, the yellow sticker, this and this up here, and then you already saw the picture of the flame that'll go on the front of this pump. I think we've got a really good look going here. So I'm going to take this downstairs very carefully, and we're going to reattach it, and then we're going to call it a weekend. Okay, back at the shop working on the pump project again. Look, we decided to make it mobile gas. Why mobile gas? Well, because we could get the sign relatively quickly. I like the colors, and I really like the logo. I think we talked about doing that in the first video, about mobile gas being an option with the Flying Pegasus. So that's what we're going with. We're going to put this on here. We've got a 24-inch LED light that'll go in the front behind the glass. We've got a light bulb and a socket that goes on top. You'll see why in a second. And then we've got new decals made up. Decals, as we say in Canada. Hudson's was the name of the gas station. We got the dollar signs. We got the price per gallon tax included. We got the gallons, and we got the total sale. So all that goes back on the front. We're going to start off. We're losing daylight, so let's drill these holes and get this sign mounted. So next we want to get our decals on the inside of the pump. Remember, these just all released from that clip. They just kind of sit in the clips that hold the glass on. Put the glass over here so I don't break it, as I've been known to do in the past. I believe it was price per gallon. Goes on the bottom. It was total sale, gallons, and then they printed me an extra dollar sign just because, well, there you go. That and that, I believe, is how it went. Can you see it on that side? Does it show? That's total sale at the top, and that's gallons in the middle. Wow, that's rough, but we left that side for a reason. I'm just going to eyeball this like that. We actually gave the dimensions of the old letters to our sign people, and they came up with these things. They're the exact same font, same size, same everything. I think they did a really nice job for us. Grab a Harbor Freight gift card out of here, because I always have one or two of those. And you get little air bubbles, and push those down. They'll seat on there really nicely. Next, we have 89 octane. Oh yeah. That's before they put that crap corn stuff in it. It gums up your engines. It's no good. It's no bueno for the cars. Okay, so this one here is kind of neat. They do a split backing on it, so you can hold the one side up, get it right where you wanted it. This is where it was right before. I'm gonna put it right back in the same spot. There we go. Definitely gave it a bit of a punch of color. I love it. The next thing is, got a couple next things. One is this here is a light. That was that would go up in here like that. So I want to get rid of the old wiring. I want to get rid of this part here. We're actually going to put some self-tappers and fasten it right to that bracket in there, and we'll get it in there. Then you're wondering, what's that for? Well, I was at a swap meet last weekend, and I decided, since we've gone with the mobile gas, I would like to go with a mobile gas globe. I really like the globes. I think they look great. I've got a couple of them. They're from an older era. This pump, 70's. The globes, previous to 70's. You don't see very many pumps of this size or style with a globe on it, but I love it. I love the mobile gas theme, so I picked up a mobile gas globe. Look at that. Now that adds some class, some color, some decor, and frankly some confusion to the pump, but that's okay. There's a steel chassis on the inside that's so thick that drill bit's not going through the top and the bottom of it. I just want to get a nut on the bottom of these two, so I just don't want, if anybody bumps into this or tries to touch the globe or anything, I don't want it to fall off. Alright, so now I'm going to go right through that thing, because it's part of the overall chassis of this, and I don't want to take it apart and weaken the unit. Scrap metal pile. Electrical nuts and bolts. So let's see, we put this on here, then you put the socket on here, get it part way through, then you run this nut up here, and this nut is locked to keep it from, just the jam nut is what they call them, and you're just going to jam it up against the threaded part of the socket, keeps that from coming out. And then what we'll have to do is we'll have to put another nut on here, drill a hole this size, go through that. This is solid underneath here. The heavy plate is on it. This is just thin aluminum. The heavy plate's right below it. So drill a larger hole, put this through it, come on the bottom side, put another nut, and jam that on there, and then put another jam nut on there, and we should be good to go. So just gonna get a bigger drill bit now. Up. Okay, now I just turn the top nut, and we're actually going to thread that threaded rod through that plate steel on the bottom. We're going to put some wire down through there. The little nut, the little wire connectors are on the bottom of the socket. It's just it's a porcelain socket. So we just wire it. Doesn't really matter, but see that? I'll go right through there now, and it's inside the pump, where I can connect it to the. Let me get some wire cutters. Connect it to the inside of the fluorescent light, and then the fluorescent light will be wired with a plug on the end of it. We'll just actually jam an extension cord up the bottom of this thing and plug it in there to cut the end off of it and wire that together inside of the light. So it'll have like a 15-foot plug on it. We can kind of set it wherever it needs to be near an outlet. Those sockets are so hard to get the wire on. There we go. So from here down, fairly period correct. It's an older sign down there, but it would have worked for the age. This is a little younger, older, but I like it. I just like the way it all goes together. I like that we've got the recurring blues and that. The 89 sticker is probably my favorite. I love that little yellow pop in there. Actually, the Mobil gas placard on the front is probably my favorite part. But I really like how that came out. So the next time you see it, it'll be sitting in the corner of the shop. It'll be all lit up. Or we'll bring a car by and see if we can buy some gas. Who knows?